Alright, I'm going to start it out. Hey, welcome to another Through the Bible episode. This episode is going to be about a topic that affects every human being out there. Old, young, rich, poor, every nationality. But I'm going to try to target the audience ultimately to Christians. But let's talk about it. It affects everybody. It's got a lot of different terminologies onto it. You know, I guess isolation, bullying, ostracizing, persecution being the main one. So let's talk about persecution. Number one, what is persecution? It's like when someone suffers for a belief that they have. And what are the types of persecution? Well, there's physical persecution. We know in Nazi Germany, Jews were persecuted. They were persecuted physically by stuffed in trains and numbered and burned. They were also persecuted socially, where they had big stars of David painted on their stores. And don't buy from Die Juden. So you have persecution like that. And then you got mental and emotional persecution where, let's say you decide to be a Christian and you go to work and people realize you're a Christian. Now, 99% of Christians do not mix work and Christianity, which is fine. In the sense that they're paying you to do a job, you know, they're not paying you to proselytize people. So that's understandable. But in your heart of hearts, you know, Jesus said when you light a lamp, you don't light it and put it under a bushel. You light it, you set it on a lampstand, it gets light to the whole house. In modern day terminology, when you have a light installed in your house, you don't install it in the crawl space, you install it in the ceiling so it gets light to everything in that living area. So if you got Christ in you, it's not something you can just squash, especially if you realize how tough life is and how much God can help you, and you're persevering after Him and you're seeking Him every day. You might pray during your lunch, you might have a little Bible study, and no matter how much you may even try to contain it, there's a verse that said, the Lord has spoken. You know, the lion has roared, who can but tremble? God has spoken, who can but prophesy? So like prophets like Jeremiah, they could not contain what was put within them because God had put it within them, so they couldn't contain it. So this is the thing. You are who you are. Don't be ashamed of it. Don't hide it. And if people pick on you for it, Jesus said, blessed are you. Great is your reward in heaven when people persecute you for my name's sake. For so they persecuted the prophets who were before you. But woe to you when everybody speaks well of you. Oh, I love that Larry dude. He drank 14 shots of whiskey at us and he didn't read his Bible and make me feel uncomfortable like that other guy. Oh, yeah, we love Larry, man. He went out and got a couple hookers with us when we were in Vegas. You know, and he didn't tell our wives. Like that other guy said he couldn't do it. What a stiff. Okay, yeah, you have gotten your persecution by men, but God will reward you. Jesus said, whoever's not ashamed of me in front of the wicked and perverse generation, He will not be ashamed of them in front of the heavenly fathers and His angels. So how can I make an analogy for this? Let's make an analogy. Here's the deal. You got a bunch of employees sitting around, right? And they're all making jokes about the owner of a company. You see the owner, man, he's so fat. He's so stupid. I'm tired of all these rules of having to clock in and clock out. And they just pick on him day and night. But there's one guy that's like, you know what? You shouldn't pick on him. He's got a lot of stress. He is the owner of the company. And maybe we shouldn't make fun of him to this degree, and we should clock in like we're supposed to. They're like, shut up, you're stupid, you're just a sucker. What would happen if one day the owner of the company overheard all the other employees making fun of him and even picking on the employee who was faithful? He would fire the unfaithful employees and he would promote the faithful one. What do you think God, the creator of the universe, is going to do He's got his faithful people fearing him, trying their best to respect him. He's not just the owner of a company, he's the owner of the whole world. So Jesus said, don't fear men who can kill your body, but fear God, who after your body is destroyed can throw you into hell. Okay? So, now, if you don't feel somewhat wounded or hurt by people picking on you, then you're not a human being. God gave you these emotions. Everyone wants to be loved. Everyone wants to be accepted. Everybody wants everybody at work to be their friend and at home. But Jesus said, I didn't come to bring peace. I came to bring a sword. Man's enemies will be those of his own household. The Bible's divisive. Because once you say, hey, this is right, that is wrong, there's a whole group of people going to say, no. It's not wrong, it's right. It's not black, it's white, right? So if you want to be a people pleaser and you want to be Mr. Popularity, Jesus said, don't follow me. You're going to have tribulation. You're going to have trials. But he who endures to the end will be saved. And it's worth it because you gain your soul. Jesus said, what profits it a man if he gains all the world but loses his soul? What does it profit if you have the most YouTube hits, if you have an Academy Award and a Grammy nomination, but after you pass away and your soul is destroyed and you go to hell because you sold it out to get all that stuff, then really you didn't gain anything. What does it matter if everybody at the office loves you and they're your friend, but you were never true to yourself? Then really, you didn't gain anything. So, my motivational word to you is, don't worry when you hear about gossip. You know it's part of life. Love people. Pray for them. Pray that their eyes will be open. Be good to them. And you can't win everybody. You cannot please everybody. And Paul said, if I still tried to please men, I wouldn't be a follower of God. So Jesus literally looked at the people he was teaching and he said, listen, doesn't anybody before he builds a building see if he's got enough material to finish it? Unless after he starts it, he doesn't have enough and everybody laughs at him. Could you imagine starting to build your house? You pour the cement, you got the pipes laid underneath it, you got your exterior walls, your interior walls, and then you run out of money and you can't put the roof on it. Everybody's gonna walk by, that's a silly house, man. And you've seen housing complex where they come now buy 200,000 parcels, and that's broken down and old, and all they did was stake out the property lines, and they got the water and the sewage drain sticking up, but there's no houses built there because they speculated it and they ran out of money, and you drive by, it's a laughing stock. Jesus said, count the cost before you follow me, because my spirit doesn't have any pleasure in him who puts his hand to the plow and turns back. So you got to count the cost. You're going to get laughed at. You're going to be made fun of. You're not going to be the most popular person at work, at home. But here's the thing. Don't feel isolated and alone. Remember, Elijah he thought he was the only guy who didn't bow down to Baal. But God said, I've reserved 3,000 people haven't done it. There's a lot of people out there who believe the same way you do. And that's why it's important every Sunday you go to church or find a friend you can confide in, who shares the like faith to build you up. All right? That's the word for the day. So let's recap. If you're a Christian, you're not going to be the most popular person. But you're popular with who it counts. That's God. And you'll have some true friends, all right? So just let this word go deep in your spirit. God bless you, and I hope you're encouraged. Have a great day.